So welcome this evening to our webinar. We are really looking forward to having it. We're so glad that so many of you have joined us this evening. We're going to be talking about some really fun strategies for navigating the holiday season. And I find that for a lot of people, they'll come into the holidays excited about all the festivities, excited about all the fun, but sometimes a little nervous and uncertain about how they're going to navigate this holiday season successfully and still stay on track with their health goals. And I got to tell you, I love seeing this chat box popping up with all these fun things that people are looking forward to in the holiday season. My name is Shirley Mast. I am a certified Optavia coach, and I'll be hosting this call for you this evening. And I'm just really glad you guys have all joined us. I'll start out actually with a little bit of self-introduction. And it'll give you a little bit of an idea about why I am so passionate about helping people get healthy. Because my own health story began at a place where my own health was really in a desperate place. It was August of 2010, and my physician said to me, "Shirley, you've got to take a look at this program." He said, "I think this is going to help your health." And at that point, I weighed close to 400 pounds. The short story is, I got started on the program, loved the results I was getting, loved how good I felt, loved the support and the tools and the community and all of the things that were designed to ensure my long-term success. I started the program with the idea of, maybe losing 20, 50 pounds. Never occurred to me that it would be possible for me to lose 215 pounds. But I'll tell you, the thing that's even more exciting for me is the fact that because with Optavia, I have the ongoing tools and support, I know what I need to know, I've got this community of support surrounding me, I'm not afraid that the weight's ever coming back. Now, this is not the point of this call, but I saw some of the people that are on this call, and I know that I'm not the only one in this room that has a weight loss story. So for those of you that are on the call, if you're comfortable with doing this, pop into the chat box how many pounds you've lost. I think some of you guys will be a little amazed at what the results are in this room, because I know some of the people in this room have lost a lot of weight. And I think, yep, here we go. There's 45 pounds. Somebody else lost 40. Vicky's lost 100. Kathy's lost 78. Cliff's lost 35. Jamie's lost 60. Sue's lost 54. I can't even read them all fast enough. But the point is, we do specialize in this program in predictable transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And so whether or not I'm the one that invited you to this call or someone else invited you to this call, you're on this call because someone cares very much about you and is really interested in helping you to create better health too, and sustainable long-term health. So with that as an introduction, and oh my word, I wish I had more time to read the chat box because I love all of these answers that are popping in. Janice lost 100, Glenn lost 175, Salem lost 35. It's just kind of amazing results. Okay, but on to the next topic. So thriving through the holidays. What we'll be talking about is ways to get healthy through this holiday season. Some of you may have never occurred to you that the holiday season could be a time when you actually get healthier instead of having the regret of overeating like you usually do. Well, maybe not you didn't, but I sure did. The old me absolutely was used to overeating too often during the holiday season. So we're going to give you some practical strategies this evening that I think you'll find to be helpful. Now, the things that I'm going to be sharing with you is going to make me look really smart, but I got to tell you, the ideas are not original with me. They come out of one of these two books. One of them is Dr. A's Habits of Health, written by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, who is the board-certified critical care physician who created our program. And this is the kind of the core, the textbook, if you will, of what we use with our clients. The Stop Challenge Choose book that you see on here is actually available in ebook form. And so if you have not had an opportunity to read that ebook, talk with whoever invited you on this call and ask them if they would get you in touch with a complimentary copy of that book. Because a lot of what we're going to talk about this evening is going to come out of that book, and you'll find there's more things in there that's going to be helpful for you in creating healthier habits in the holiday season. So when we start thinking about the holidays, some people might just say, well, I really should be working on getting healthier. but it's just too hard to do that during the holiday season, so maybe I'll wait till January. And that certainly can be a choice. But what if you could make choices during the holiday season where you actually started losing weight between now and January 1st instead of gaining the 10 pounds that you usually do? Now, I don't know you personally, maybe you don't gain 10 pounds over the holiday season, but a lot of people do. And so we're going to give you some ideas on how to make this holiday season have a healthier outcome for you. So for a lot of people, they will look at an upcoming event and assume that that event is going to determine their outcome. So for instance, if I go to Aunt Brenda's house for Thanksgiving dinner, I'm going to overeat, I'm going to feel lousy the next day, and it's really because I went to Aunt Brenda's house. Okay, the event equaled the outcome. Here's what I would propose that you might consider. And that is, it's the event plus your response that equals the outcome. So if you think about this, when you go to Aunt Brenda's house, there's nothing that says you have to overeat there, right? There's nothing that says you have to clean off half of her pumpkin pie, right? Okay, so it's your response to the event that's going to determine the outcome that you get overall. And so we're going to talk about how to create different responses tonight. And so what I'd suggest that you think about is what your response is going to be to the holidays this year. And think about, what would you like your ideal outcome to be? In other words, what kind of outcome would you like to have when January 2nd rolls around? Okay, what would you like to be going into 2018? How would you like to enter the new year? So I'm going to give you some options that you might consider, and I'm not here to tell you which option you need to take, okay, but I'm going to suggest that there's 3 options. One option would be, and this is what a lot of our clients are doing, enjoying the benefits of eating healthy throughout the holiday season. In other words, they're just continuing to eat make healthy choices. Our clients in our program are eating small, frequent meals. They're eating 6 meals a day, very, very small ones, okay? In other words, small fuelings throughout the day, drinking lots of water, they're staying active. And the benefit of that is, as they go through the holiday season, they're going to feel great. They're going to have more energy to do activities and to be with the people that are important to them, okay? So that could be option 1, all right? Option 2 might be a compromise, okay? Maybe you, whoops, we're whipping on to option 3 already. I got my slides moving too fast. Maybe you're making healthy choices except for a couple of holiday meals when you indulge a little bit more. Okay, so that could be option 2. Pretty much you're eating healthy except for a couple of meals where you have some extras. Or you could go with option 3, which is no change at all in what you're doing right now. Now, if you're already eating healthy, this is good news, okay? If you don't do any change in what you're doing now and you're already eating healthy, that's going to be good for you. But if you're not already eating healthy and you make no change in what you're doing now, it's likely that you're going to gain weight over the holidays, okay? And actually, I would love to hear from you guys in the chat box. As you think about option 1, option 2, option 3, which one do you prefer to do? Now, I'm not coming back to check on you later to see that you do, okay? But would you like to stay with option 1 where you're choosing to eat healthy throughout the holidays? It might mean that you give up some things that you would ordinarily eat, but you'd feel good, okay? Option 2 is a compromise. You're going through the whole holidays, eating healthy for almost every meal, but you'd have a couple meals maybe where you have some extras. Or option 3, where you don't change anything from what you're doing now. Put that into the chat box. I'd love to hear from you guys. What's your plan for the holiday season? Okay, I'll tell you personally, for me, I'm going to do option 2. I have a couple meals where I'm going to have just a little bit extra, something special. But primarily, I'm doing option 2, where I'm just eating healthy through the vast majority of the holiday season. So pop that into the chat box. And for those of you, you may want to let the person who invited you onto the call, let them know what your option is that you chose. The thing that you got to remember is that regardless of which option you pick, there's not a right choice. So whether you pick 1, 2, or 3 doesn't make you a better or worse person. It's just about picking the goal that's important to you so that you get the outcome that you want. Does that make sense? Okay. So what you want to do is decide which option you want before the holidays arrive and design a plan to achieve what you want. So here's one thing that you can consider. Sometimes people will come into the holiday season and they'll say, oh, I've got all these holiday dinners to deal with. There's so many, I just couldn't possibly have enough willpower to get through all of them. All right. Here's what I'd suggest to you, okay? So right now, as of this evening, it's November 21st, all right? Here's one thing you can consider. As of right now, there's 40 days left in this year. Just 40, wow, where did this year go, right? So, you know that I said we suggest 6 healthy meal choices a day. In other words, 6 fuelings throughout the day. You've got your 3 meals, 3 snacks in between. 6 healthy meal choices a day. If you multiply that times 40, that's 240 meal choices between now and the end of the year, which sounds like a lot, okay? Now, here's what you want to think about though. How many of those are going to be challenging choices? Okay, because I'm willing to bet that your breakfast tomorrow is not one of those challenging choices, probably, okay? How many holiday meal choices do you have in a given holiday season? Well, you've got Thanksgiving, okay, that's coming up here shortly. You've got maybe your business Christmas party. Okay, and actually, if you want, count them up on your fingers, because some of you don't have a Christmas party. Okay, so that may not be a factor, but maybe you do have Thanksgiving. Or some of you are having a quiet dinner at home for Thanksgiving, and so that's not going to be a challenging meal for you. Okay, but at most, Thanksgiving, Christmas party, Christmas Eve, if you celebrate, you know, special things for Christmas Eve, or maybe for Hanukkah. Okay, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day's football, for those of you that do football. I don't do football, so that's not an issue for me, okay? That's not a lot of dinners that you're gonna have challenging choices with. And I often will have people look at that list and say, oh, I've really only got about 4 of those that I have to be concerned about. But at the most, maybe 5 to 7 meals out of 240. Doesn't that make this seem a little more manageable? How many of you just found that was kind of an encouraging thought? Feel free to use the chat box too. I love the feedback, you know, it just makes me happy. Okay, so here's the thing. As you go into the holidays, you can use the holidays as a massive excuse to overeat. And that's a choice you can make, okay? But you don't have to. The holidays don't have to be an excuse for overeating, because what a lot of people find is they really like going into that new year with momentum, feeling good, not getting to January 1st and saying, oh, I just feel awful. I'm really unhappy with what I've done the last 40 days, all right? Because the thing is, you have so many opportunities to make choices that are in line with your goals. And we're going to talk through some of those this evening on some ways you can do that. Because if you want to go through this holiday season feeling really good about your choices, we're going to help you do that, all right? So we're going to help you get this strategy in place to get the outcome that you desire. Sound good? Okay. Yeah, nod your heads up and down. I can't see you anyway, but it makes me happy. Okay. So if you take first of all, you want to look at what's your desired outcome. What do you want to achieve? Thinking ahead to January 2nd, when most of the festivities are done. What do you want to achieve? For example, you might say, I'm going to get a healthy eating plan in place because I want to maintain my weight over the holidays. I don't want to have any weight gain. And I'd like to feel better than I usually do over the holidays, because typically during the holiday season, I feel really sluggish because I eat too much of the wrong stuff and I just don't feel good. So I'm going to get a healthy eating plan in place. That could be an example, okay? The thing that you want to do is make sure that it's measurable. Okay, so if you get a plan in place, maybe you'll adapt what we do, where you say, I'm going to eat 6 small fuelings a day. I'm going to drink a lot of water. I'm going to make sure that I'm getting a good night's sleep, whatever it is, but make sure that it's measurable. Because if you go into the holidays saying, I'm just going to do better, well, that's kind of a hard thing to measure, isn't it? I don't know, is that better or worse? You know, is what I'm doing now better than what I did before? But if I was eating 3 meals a day before, and I now know that I'm eating 6 meals a day, hey, that's measurable, isn't it? Does that make sense? Yeah, I love what you're saying in the chat box here, Vicki. A plan always helps her, she said. I'm with you guys. When I go into something with a plan, I am much more successful. So you've got your desired outcome, all right? Then take a look at your current reality, meaning a really realistic view of where you are now. Now, do this without judgment, do this without shame. It's just, here's where you are right now, okay? So it could be, well, I've gained a little weight over the past couple of months. I really don't feel so good about that. And if I'm not careful, I'm probably going to gain another 5 or 10 pounds over the next couple of weeks. That could be your current reality. That's okay. Own that. That'll just help inform your decisions as you go forward. Okay? Then you want to get your action steps in place. And these are those secondary choices. Now, again, if this is all sounding really brilliant, it's because I got it entirely out of this book that Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson wrote. Okay? So those secondary choices that you're gonna make to achieve your goal. Okay? So for instance, it might be, if you want to navigate these holidays well, you might say, I'm going to commit to stick to my plan. That could be one thing. I'm going to drink at least 64 ounces of water a day. All right. Actually, I'd love to see that in the chat box. How many ounces of water a day do you guys usually drink? Because I'm willing to bet some of you maybe only have maybe 16 ounces of water a day. Drinking 64 ounces of water a day can make you feel a lot better. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Have you guys had the experience of, like, maybe you have a night where you don't get much sleep, maybe you sleep only 4 or 5 hours, and the next day you want to eat anything that is not nailed down, right? I love seeing this pop into the chat box. Hey, we've got a lot of people that are drinking lots of water. Good for you guys. So the sleep is going to be really important to your success. You make better decisions when you're rested. You tend to make impetuous, poor decisions when you haven't had a good night's sleep. Here's another great one. If you make sure that you always carry a healthy snack with you at all times in case you're delayed. Anybody ever get delayed when you go out shopping? Black Friday's coming, okay? Have you ever had times where you're out doing errands and you think, oh my goodness, I thought I was going to be home 2 hours ago and now I'm crazy raving hungry and I'm going to go through a drive-through, and what you grab at the drive-through is probably not going to be healthy, right? So an easy way to prevent that is to just make sure there's always a healthy snack in the car. You can pack something, you know, even if you pack a package full of almonds, that's something that can sit in your car in a sealed package and can be there in case you ever need it. So what you want to do as you walk into this holiday season is to commit to always thinking before you eat. So when you're ready to eat something, think, why am I eating? Now, it could be for a really good reason. It could be, hey, I haven't eaten for 3 hours and it's time, all right? But to always think, to make the process of eating a lot more mindful, all right? And I know, just because I know who's on the call, I know some of you have really done some good work with this. So before you put anything in your mouth and before you eat, ask yourself, is this a rational eating decision or is this an emotional eating decision? All right, I'll talk with you a little bit about what that means, okay? So if you want to try to figure out if this is a rational decision, the questions you're going to ask yourself are, is eating this in my long-term best interest? Okay, now if you haven't eaten for 3 hours and it's time for you to eat again, and you're going to maybe eat some apple slices and a couple cheese sticks, would that be in your long-term best interest? Well, sure it would. Okay, if you're eyeing up the second serving of pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving dinner, is that in your long-term best interest? Probably not. Another good question to ask yourself, if I eat this now, how will I feel an hour from now? How will I feel tomorrow? I know some of you have done this already, where you've navigated Thanksgiving dinner, you've made really healthy choices, you've eaten your turkey, you've eaten your green beans, you chose to not eat desserts, and the next morning you got up and you felt like a rock star, didn't you? Right? Okay, so think about, how will I feel an hour from now if I eat this? Now back to the apple slices and cheese sticks. An hour from now, oh, I'll feel really satisfied. I'll feel like I fed my body well. The second piece of pumpkin pie, an hour from now, I'm willing to bet you money you're going to feel regret. And tomorrow morning, absolutely, because you just won't feel so good. All right, another good question to ask yourself, how will I feel a year from now if I continue to make decisions like this one? Ooh, these are good questions, aren't they? Okay, so if I have those apple slices and cheese sticks, how will I feel a year from now if I continue to make a decision like this? Well, I'll feel pretty good because I'll be feeding my body well, I'll have good nutrition. Second piece of pumpkin pie, not so much, okay? So that's gonna help you clear out, if you commit in this holiday season to ask yourself these 3 questions every time you eat, and it's quick, you'll run through it in your head pretty quickly. I think you're gonna find you'll have a really great outcome, okay? And when you ask those questions, it engages both your rational brain and your emotional brain. So when we talk about this with our clients, we talk about stop, challenge, choose. Again, this is straight from Dr. Anderson. Dr. A came up with this system to help people make the really good decisions, either whether it's in their eating or other areas of health. It could be in relationship to sleep. It could be in response to stress. Here's what we mean by stop, challenge, choose. So stop in that moment and think before you respond. Challenge why you feel the way you do. Okay, I feel like eating that pumpkin pie, the second piece, because the first one tasted so good, and I really like Aunt Brenda, and it'll probably make her feel good if I have a second piece of pie. Okay, well, you know, it's worth kind of thinking through why you're doing this, okay? And then make the choice that's going to help match up with your ideal outcome. Okay, so those questions that we just ran through, they were all questions, sorry, related to stop, challenge, choose, okay? And I'm gonna put those questions back up here again because they're good ones. Is eating this in my long-term best interest? If I eat this now, how will I feel an hour from now? How will I feel tomorrow if I eat this now? How will I feel a year from now if I continue to make decisions like that? Those are all stop, challenge, choose. Stop in the moment and think before you respond, challenge why you feel the way you do, and then make the choice that's going to match up with your ideal outcome. Isn't that kind of easy peasy? Isn't that kind of cool? Stop, challenge, choose. It works for a lot of things. And I'd encourage you guys to practice that this holiday season, whether it's in your eating choices or maybe you're in a shopping line on Black Friday with a lot of frustrated shoppers. You could stop, challenge, choose in that moment before you respond, right? Okay, so let's get into some challenges and strategies and tips for this holiday season. This is kind of my favorite section of this because I think a lot of people really, they want to make good, healthy choices. They just need some strategies for navigating some of the typical challenges. So we're going to run through those tonight. And I think actually if you're at a place where you can grab a piece of paper and a pen, this might be a good time to write some notes because I think you'll probably find some ideas here that will be helpful to you. So anytime you're invited to an event or a gathering, remember that if it's going to be a gathering that is extraordinarily challenging to you, sometimes it's okay to say no. You know, if you know that at that work Christmas party, you always overeat and you probably drink a little too much too, if you don't have a reason for work that you have to be there, maybe you choose to not go. Maybe that is actually going to be more consistent with your long-term health goals. And remember too that you can be selective. You don't have to go to every event that you're invited to, because I'm willing to bet that you have invitations to far more events in the next 6 weeks than any one person can possibly attend. I know that that's true for me. So what I find is it can be really easy to overextend ourselves. And if I am not rested enough, I'm going to set myself up for making poor choices. Because I'm thinking you guys have had the experience of, you know, when the stress builds up and you're gone every single night of the week, by the time it gets to the end of the week, you know, you just are not thinking as clearly as you could be because you're tired, your brain's worn out, and you tend to not make the healthy choices that you wanted to make. So take good care of yourself, get plenty of sleep. Sleep, honestly, is one of the best things you can do to help that brain make the good choices that it wants to make. So somebody said to me already, okay, so every year my family, they have a baking party. They make a bazillion cookies to hand out as gifts to people at Christmas time. How do I deal with that? Because I'm going to be surrounded with cookies all day. Well, there's a couple things you can do, actually. One option you might consider is maybe you suggest to the family to make non-edible gifts this year. Maybe you do some crafty something that people would really enjoy. Because the thing is, most of the people you're giving cookies to, they maybe are a little nervous about having a whole bunch of cookies come into their house too, because they're also working on eating healthy. And you guys have heard that already where, you know, somebody says, oh, more Christmas cookies, okay? So maybe you make a different choice this year as for what you do for your gift giving. But let's say you are going to go ahead and do that baking party. If you brush your teeth with extra minty toothpaste before you get started, that'll really help. Have you guys had that experience where, like, once you brush your teeth, you kind of are reluctant to pick something up and make that minty taste go away? So that can be helpful. Be sure that you eat before you bake. In other words, don't show up at that cookie bake hungry, because again, you'll be likely to eat everything just because your body's saying, hey, I got to get some fuel. So make sure you're getting good nutrition in. Be sure you wash your hands frequently. Okay, if your hands are clean, you're much less likely to just grab some cookie dough. All right, and this one's my favorite. This is totally worth the price of admission, folks. Okay, so you're doing the cookie bake. You guys are familiar with Vicks Vapor Rub, right? It's that mentally stuff that, you know, your mama used to rub on your chest when you had a cold when you were a kid. Okay, take a little dab of that. Rub it right under your nose. You guys can kind of smell it now, can't you? It's like that really sharp menthol scent, right? Okay. Well, trust me, if you've got Vicks Vapor Rub under your nose, those cookies are not going to smell nearly as good, right? And I think you're going to find that, yeah, I love it. Rich says Vicks isn't just for colds anymore. You know, do you think maybe, will they pay me for the free advertising I'm doing for them? Probably not. Okay, so another event that you can consider. Okay, so before you go to an event, and I know somebody in the chat mentioned this earlier, if you can have a written action plan in place before you go, it's going to be really helpful, whether it's the upcoming holidays or maybe it's some event next year. That written action plan is going to really help, and plan ahead for what you'll do when a challenge comes. So if you know that every time you go to Aunt Esther's house, she is always pushing cookies on you, well, you can prepare for that. So you could say, well, when Aunt Esther pushes the cookies on me, I'm going to say, oh, Aunt Esther, they look delicious, but really I couldn't eat any right now. I'm just too full. And when she says, oh, are you sure you don't want any? I'll say, no, really, thank you so much. They look delicious, but I really don't care for any right now. Okay, I've already planned out, because I know, and Aunt Esther loves me, so she's doing this out for good reasons, okay? But I've already got a plan in place on how I'm going to respond to her. Okay, another example might be maybe the company business party. The company Christmas party, or the holiday party, that maybe you have a friend that tends to push alcohol on you. Oh, here, have another drink. Go ahead, have another beer. And you know that beer is just lots of empty calories. Start planning what you're going to say, how you're going to respond, because it'll make a big difference in your outcome. Again, like the cookie bake, don't go hungry. Okay, have some good nutrition in your system before you go. Get some protein, good mixture of protein and carb into your tummy before you go. You're much more likely to make good choices. Now, I'll tell you, if you can write them down, it's going to be incredibly helpful. Now, some of you are looking at this and looking at this form and thinking, oh, if only I could have a copy of that to print off myself. Well, my friends, I'm here for you. Okay, so if you go to mast.coach/event plan, and I think actually Cliff's going to put it in the chat box for you as well. If you go there, you can download this form, print as many of them as you want for this upcoming season, and get your plan in place. Okay, so my plan of action for the company Christmas party. Date and time for that, my goals for the event, write in whatever objectives you want to have. Write down the potential challenges. Oh yeah, my buddy Jim, he always wants me to drink extra beers with him. Here's how I'm going to respond. Okay, see how that works? Write it down, guys. Write it down. There is a lot of power in writing out your plan. Okay? All right, so moving on. You guys having fun yet? Okay, so moving on some more strategies. Okay, so when you go to an event, instead of the food, focus on the friends and family. Now, I know that seems like a no-brainer, but I'll tell you, on my journey to health, I remember getting to a point in my health journey where I was down probably 100 pounds. And I started to realize that in the past, I used to go to family events looking forward to the food almost more than I was looking forward to seeing the people. It was an incredibly embarrassing discovery. I mean, really, I was kind of mortified because I love my family. But I'll tell you, when I made that shift from the food to the people, the event became so much more rewarding, where I came to the event saying, wow, I'm really looking forward to having some time to sit and talk with my niece. Or, oh, well, when I have a break, I want to be sure to go talk with my nephew or my cousin or whatever, okay? So focus on the friends and family. That's really the reason for these events anyhow, right? And at the event, enjoy yourself. You know, treasure those moments. Be in the moment, okay? And pay attention to what's going on. Sometimes what will happen for me, I know, is if I get too distracted by the food, I miss fully embracing the moment. The other thing that can be really fun to do at a holiday party, and especially for those of you that are like, you're well in your health journey, you're going to be showing up at these holiday parties and people are going to be saying, oh my gosh, you look fantastic, okay? So feel free to use those holiday parties as an opportunity to be a role model of healthier living. I know that as I got healthier and I went to these holiday parties, people would say to me, well, Shirley, if you're going to not eat dessert, I cannot eat dessert too. Now, it's not that I told them they didn't have to eat dessert. It didn't matter to me. But they used my healthy choice to empower their healthy choice. How cool is that? So let people see that you're making healthy choices, and that you may be surprised at how many people will love the fact that you're making healthy choices and will use the fact that you're not eating dessert to mean that they don't have to eat dessert either. It's kind of cool. All right, so let's say you're going to a potluck and you're supposed to bring something, okay? And depending on your community, the potlucks might be a little unhealthy. So see to it that you bring something that you enjoy, something that's healthy that everybody else will enjoy eating too. You might find that you go to an event where for some reason you absolutely need to be bringing snacks or dessert that you would prefer to not eat. And in that case, bring something that you don't like, okay? So maybe I don't like coconut cookies. Truth be told, I adore them, okay? But let's say I don't, okay? Coconut cookies would be awesome then to bring to the holiday party, because I'm not going to be tempted by them. Everybody else is going to think that they're awesome, all right? So bring something that you can resist if you need to bring something for some reason that's not very healthy. But there are lots of really great ideas of things that you could bring to a potluck. In fact, if you just go Google healthy holiday treats or healthy holiday snacks, Google will give you all sorts of ideas. Mashed cauliflower, you can do little trays of veggies or fruit that looks like turkeys for Thanksgiving. You could do the same thing and make them look like a Christmas tree for Christmas and so on. There's just lots and lots of creative things you can bring, because the thing that's cool is eating healthy doesn't have to be boring. And it absolutely is delicious. So have fun with it. It's not that you don't have fun bringing fun things to eat, just make them healthy choices. All right, now let's say you are at that holiday party. Now what? Well, one thing you can do is position yourself away from the food. Now, in the days before I got healthy, trust me, I was the one sitting right next to the buffet. I don't do that anymore. I sit over on the other side of the room. I get myself away from the food. And the other thing you can do is hold a water bottle in your dominant hand all the time. Okay, now it's not that I can't pick up food with my left hand. I can, but it's going to require a little more thought, because I'm used to picking up food with my right hand. So if I've got my water bottle in my dominant hand, it's a great way to go. When you're at the event, make sure you're using the smallest plate possible. That's one of the easiest, simplest things you can do. So if you're going to a buffet, grab a dessert-sized plate, fill that up. You're going to eat a lot less food that way, and be sure to eat really slowly too. Okay, eat slowly and savor it. It all comes back to that enjoy the moment thing, right? Also make a pact with yourself that it's one trip through the buffet, not going back for seconds. That's part of the reason you're going to want to eat slowly, because you want to savor the taste, because you're not going back for seconds, right? And like we had mentioned earlier, if you can bring a healthy snack to share, the thing that's nice is then you've got a healthy snack to eat too. Okay, so it's now cleanup time. We've gotten through the holiday party. Maybe you're entertaining in your home. I'll tell you, this was always a challenge for me, especially for Thanksgiving dinner. We often would host for our entire family. And I know in my case, I would eat at Thanksgiving dinner. I'd have a lovely meal then. And then I would have a second meal at cleanup. And because you know how that goes, okay? Well, there's just a little bit of this left. I'll just eat it because it's too much to pack away, right? Yeah, I mean, if this has happened to you, you could just blink at me. I'll get it, okay? So if cleanup time and the leftovers is a problem for you, get yourself busy washing the dishes. Let somebody else put the leftovers away that isn't challenged by this. I know that that's still true for me now. I have no business putting the leftovers away because I'm much too likely to grab extra bites that I really didn't want or need. The other thing you can do is if you've got healthy food like Thanksgiving dinner, I mean, a lean and green dinner, turkey and green beans, that's awesome, okay? So package up your leftovers into healthy lean and green meals, and you can use that for busy days that are coming up ahead in the next couple of weeks. So just to kind of recap, during the holidays, focus on your family and your friends, not on the food. You're going to find that to be really, really rewarding. Plan ahead, don't go hungry. Okay, use that little downloadable form that I mentioned to you so that you can plan. And choose smaller plates. Avoid the family style dining where you're passing the plates around the table, because you'll end up having, if you're passing the dishes around the table, you're going to be much more likely to eat more than what you quite intended to. Another great tip is if you're going to a dinner, go take yourself for a walk beforehand, or maybe you go to the gym and get a workout in the morning. Do something so that you're actually getting moving. You're going to be much less likely to overeat if you've just had a good workout, because your body's going to feel good and you're not going to want to negate all the hard work you did with your workout that morning. If you're in environments where there's a lot of drinking, it's not that you can't have alcohol, but you may want to choose to turn those cocktails into mocktails. Or maybe you just actually, right this evening, I'm actually drinking seltzer water. Seltzer water makes a great beverage. You take some seltzer water, throw a lime in there. No one's going to know what's in your drink. You still have a beverage, but you don't have all those empty calories. And the other benefit is you'll find that when you're drinking alcohol, your inhibitions drop, so you're much more likely to eat more in that situation. So that seltzer water can be a great solution to that situation, okay? Oh, and also use your healthy friends for support. I know that sometimes I'll go to an event that I suspect may be a little challenging. And I might say to one of my healthy friends, hey, I just want you to know I'm not planning to have any dessert tonight. Now, that friend is not going to come to me and say, now, Shirley, you said you weren't going to have dessert, okay? Because friends don't do that, okay? But there is something about my own sense of pride that'll say, look, I told him I wasn't going to have dessert, so I'm not having dessert. You end up, that's the cool thing about this optimal health community. You end up with people kind of banding together to support each other. And it's really, really cool. So I'm hoping you guys found some good ideas in here. Was this helpful? Give me something in the chat boxes. Were there some good tips in here that you liked? I'm really curious to hear from you guys afterwards. So as you come into this holiday season, I'd encourage you to enjoy this season. Treasure the moments, treasure your friends and family, and realize that honestly, you can go into this season not just saying, oh, I wonder if I can survive this season. You actually can make decisions that will help you to thrive. And I hope that we've given you some tools and strategies to actually be able to accomplish that. And what I'd encourage, and don't hop off of here yet, because I got a gift for you guys after this, all right? So, hey, thanks, Carol, I appreciate that. So what I would suggest is, after this webinar, get in touch with whoever it is that invited you onto this call. Chances are they are certified Optavia coach, or they are a client coached by one of our coaches. And share with them one thing that you learned from this webinar. And if you're comfortable doing that, let them know too what your strategy is for this holiday season. Because a little accountability is a great thing. So if you could say to them, look, I decided, Shirley said I had option 1, 2, or 3. I decided I was going to go for option 1 this season, okay? And if you feel like you'd like some help with that, talk with them, and say, hey, I'd like to get some more strategies in place. Could you help me with this? Because I know that they would be honored to be able to help you in whatever way they can to help you reach the goals that are really important to you. Oh gosh, I'm going to read through this chat box later because you guys have been really encouraging. Thank you so much for your encouragement. It's really fun for me. Now, some of you know that I said that if you got on the call live, I was going to have a little gifty for you, okay? So it's like Christmas is coming early, folks. All right, so here you go, gifty. Now, I'll put the link here again for that event plan that paper if you want to be able to print that out. But I have 2 other links for you with lots of healthy recipes. Now, some of you, if you're clients of ours, you may have seen the one, but the other one I'm pretty sure is new for you. So if you go to mass.coach/holiday1 and also /holiday2, you'll have 2 different listings of lots of really fantastic healthy recipes. The second listing actually comes from my coach. Dr. Anderson and his wife Lori are my direct coach and business mentors. And this is the newsletter that they put out that had lots and lots of healthy recipes. So I'm really glad to be able to share that with you guys. So congratulations to you for taking the time tonight to be on this call and for making the investment into your own health. The call is recorded, so you can check again with whoever it is that invited you onto the call if you'd like to be able to watch this again. The recording will be posted soon and they can share that with you. And I hope it's been helpful for you. I'd love to hear from you guys afterwards. If it's been helpful, feel free to share with me. I'd love to hear from you. So guys, make it a great holiday season, and thank you so much for being on the call. It was great to have you here.